guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Tatiana. So today I'm gonna be taking you guys to my second, but technically my first ultrasound. The first one that I went to was through the ER, and they just did the ultrasound for me, but they didn't let me see the screen. I want to say I was 5 weeks at that time. They told me all they saw was the sac, and that was it. They didn't see the fetal pole, or they didn't see the yolk sac. So after that appointment, I started researching and getting like really like stressed, because I was like, why didn't they see a fetal pole at least, or a yolk sac? So I haven't heard anything from my OBGYN stating like when I have my next appointment or my next ultrasound. I am going on 10 weeks, and I was just like, that's long. I need to see what's going on and stuff like that. So I am going to pay for a private ultrasound. So this is technically like my first, because this one I'll be able to see the screen and everything. So I'm really excited about that. Hopefully I can take you guys in the ultrasound room with me, since this one is not like a medical facility. This is just like a private ultrasound. I'm hoping they will let me record, but I don't know. If not, I will see you guys back here and then just show you guys pictures or whatnot. But if worse comes to worse and there's no baby, which God forbids, because I hope there is, then I won't post this video. So but if I do post this video, then yeah. Okay you guys, so I'm here at my ultrasound place. I know I told you guys I was gonna see you guys either here in the ultrasound room or back at home or whatever. I didn't even ask the dude could I record. I'm just gonna ask him when I get in there. But I'm here super early. It is 6:51. My appointment is not until 7:30, so I'm here super early. I just seen a family go in, and I'm early. Like, I'm only 9 weeks and 2 days. So I seen a lady go in. She looked like she was about, I want to say, half mark or maybe 30 weeks. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can't wait. Like I'm really nervous for this appointment, because like I told you guys earlier in the beginning that the first ultrasound I had, it was in the ER, and all they saw was the sac. They didn't see the fetal pole or the yolk sac. So I'm really nervous if the ultrasound person here, the ultrasound tech, will find a baby. Yeah, I'm sitting here watching a whole bunch of first ultrasound videos on YouTube, and I'm tired of watching it, y'all. Like I'm tired of seeing everybody, not to be rude, I'm just tired of watching, you know, other people's ultrasounds, and I haven't had my own. So that's why I was just like, let me just make a private visit for one and not wait on my OBGYN to make me one. I'm hoping to have pictures of my little peanut before my birthday. Like, that's something I really want. I feel like it would take so much stress, so much relief, just seeing a baby there. And,
vaginal? Yeah, so we have a transabdominal probe, which just means that my probe goes on your tummy. Be is that there's a yolk sac, and it's just hiding behind in there.
yeah,
I think you need some labs done.
okay.
I think you need to get some labs done and be monitored by the doctor. I'm gonna stop today's exam here.
Okay. Hi you guys, so it's November 1st, and it's been well over 2 to 3 months since my miscarriage had taken place, and I just want to fill you guys in on the rest of what happened and how I was having a miscarriage. So after my private ultrasound, I went to the emergency room, and they did a second ultrasound for me, and they also ran my ACG levels. And during the ultrasound tech, she would not let me see the screen. She told me that the doctor will follow up with me and let me know what is going on and things like that. She did the ultrasound for about a good 10 to 15 minutes. After the ultrasound, she told me to get dressed. She had left the room, and while I was getting dressed, something told me to just look at the screen, and my pictures from what she had took to show the doctor were still on the ultrasound monitor. And I just want to let you guys know, before that, during my private ultrasounds, she wasn't able to find a fetal pole or a heartbeat or yolk sac. She wasn't able to find anything but the gestational sac. And from my first ultrasound that I previously had, from when I first found out I was pregnant, they were only able to see the sac. So when I saw that there was a fetal pole present, my worries did go away. So I went back to the waiting room to wait for the doctor to come and talk to me. And I did have in my mind that I should just leave, because I had pictures and I saw with my own eyes like there was a fetal pole this time. But I wasn't thinking that, you know, she didn't find a heartbeat or anything like that. So when the doctor came out, she had spoke with me and she told me that, you know, I think you're having a miscarriage, because according to your dates, you're supposed to be 9 weeks and about 3 to 4 days pregnant, and you're only measuring 6 weeks pregnant. So from thinking that, you know, seeing a fetal pole, that was a good sign, I did forget, like, you know, there needed to be a heartbeat. So when she told me that, I didn't know what to think. I thought, you know, I did think that it maybe was too early, but then I thought, you know, a month ago it was too early, and why am I only measuring at 6 weeks when a whole month ago I was 4 weeks pregnant? So the dates and the times just wasn't adding up, and I knew something was wrong. So after that, I see my OBGYN and I let her know what was going on. And at my OBGYN office, we have different OBGYNs that we see. So every OBGYN that I saw, I had to let them know what was going on and my concerns and things like that. So the first lady that I saw, I told her what was going on, and she told me that I could possibly have my dates wrong. I could be too early. I told her that I would like to take the pill, and she was going to give me the pill that day, but she told me that I think you should have another ultrasound done. So she scheduled me for another ultrasound, which was, I believe, about 3 to 4 weeks out. And during those 3 to 4 weeks, I had went and saw another OBGYN in that same health center. They had scheduled me, I can't remember along the lines of what they scheduled me for. I think it was just an OB checkup. So they scheduled me for an OB checkup, and I told that OBGYN what was going on and that I think I'm having, you know, a miscarriage. And by that time I was spotting a little bit, but it wasn't heavy. It was just like a light, really light pinkish spotting. And I thought, you know, this couldn't be implantation bleeding because I'm at 6 weeks. Usually that happens a little bit early, but according to my last menstrual period, I should have been almost 10 weeks. So I said, no, this doesn't seem right. So I was having really, really light spotting, and I told the OBGYN what was going on. She did like a, almost like a pap smear on me to do a biopsy of what was going on. So she sent everything off to the lab. Everything was fine, and she had me go in to do my HCG levels. I never went to do my HCG levels because by that time I had my HCG levels drawn maybe 5 times or about 4 times, and then I had went to the emergency room for the ultrasounds about 3 times. So I kind of was overwhelmed. I was exhausted from going to the emergency room, just seeing doctors in general. I was just exhausted, so I skipped going to get my HCG levels tested. But I did go to the ultrasound, which she scheduled me the same day that my last OBGYN scheduled me. So I had 2 ultrasounds in one day, which was crazy. But the first one that I went to, that one, a young lady had did my ultrasound, and she had to do a transvaginal ultrasound as well, because during the transabdominal ultrasound they weren't able to see anything. So she did a transvaginal ultrasound, and I don't know if she knew what she was doing well enough, because she had called another lady in. She asked the lady, was, you know, this right? I don't know what they were talking about, but I remember her saying, like, is this right? Am I measuring this right? How do I measure that? And I was, you know, a little like, I need someone that knows what they're doing. I don't need anyone that doesn't know what they're doing. But I just laid there and I was calm, trying to keep positive thoughts. And I remember the lady that came in, she said, yeah, I had someone that was early just like her that came in earlier. So I asked the lady, I said, did you at least find a heartbeat? Because that's what I was more concerned about at that time. And she said, the doctor will come and talk to you and let you know your results and everything. So she completely kind of brushed it off and just immediately went to, the doctor will come and talk to you. So when she said that, I knew something was wrong. I was like, okay, usually when they say the doctor is going to come talk to you, something is wrong. It's not good news. So I waited in the lobby and I had about an hour before my next ultrasound because I had 2 the same day. So I waited, and I don't know if they were really busy that day. I believe so. But I had waited and I had got up about 40 minutes later because I had only 20 minutes to make it to my next ultrasound, which was in the same proximity. It wasn't that far away, but I was like, I need to be a little early so I'm not late and miss that ultrasound out. So my mom had came with me, and the first ultrasound she wasn't able to come in, but at the second ultrasound she was able to come in and see what was going on and was able to see the baby and things like that. But anyway, I was waiting in the lobby and the doctor, he had finally came to talk to me. And I remember the ultrasound tech, before I even got called by the doctor to come back to talk to him, she had mentioned to him like, hey, I just did a patient's ultrasound and I was able to identify a fetal pole and a gestational sac, but I wasn't able to identify the yolk sac. And I knew that she was talking about me, but I just was like, you know, when the doctor calls me, he'll explain everything. I'm not gonna get too concerned, too worried, too stressed out. But by that point, I knew I was having a miscarriage because at the emergency room, I was measuring way less than what my last menstrual period was supposed to be measuring. So the doctor finally comes and talks to me, and he shows me images of what the ultrasound tech had took, and he tells me, you know, I don't want to say you're having a miscarriage, but according to your last menstrual period, you know, you should be further along, but you might just be early. Let's just do HCG levels. And he kind of left it at that. Then he went on to talk about something that was concerning, but just wasn't concerning, I felt like, or too important for me to even hear about at that moment. He asked me what race was my partner, and I told him he was black. And he went on to tell me about how African Americans are predominantly prone to having sickle cell anemia. And I was thinking like, okay, you know, what does this have to do with, you know, my pregnancy? I understand that we need to make sure I don't have sickle cell anemia because that is very dangerous while you're pregnant. But I just wasn't too concerned about that because I was more concerned about a heartbeat. So we talked about the pregnancy, about what the ultrasound tech had found for a really brief moment, and then he went on more about sickle cell anemia. And at that point, I was just like, okay, I have to go. Thank you for talking to me and telling me, you know, what was going on and things like that. So I go in for my next ultrasound. At that ultrasound, it's more like a private ultrasound, but my OBGYN referred me to that ultrasound, so my insurance paid for it. It was very nice. It had a huge screen and a bench for your family and friends to sit on for them to watch and see the baby as well. So it was really cozy, really nice, and really calm in there. They had really nice music and just a calming, relaxing environment. So I get there and my mom is there, and she was able to see the baby. And I was also able to see that the baby had not grown. It was still at 6 weeks. So in my head, I was like, okay, yes, this is a miscarriage. I've confirmed it, you know. Even though my body had not recognized that it was having a miscarriage, I knew like this is a miscarriage, and whenever my body would recognize it, you know, the miscarriage would take place. So I told my mom after the ultrasound, I said, Mom, this is not a viable pregnancy. She was giving me a lot of hope. She said, you just saw a baby. You just saw a yolk sac. Don't give up so fast. But I had already given up because I was just like, my dates are not matching up and there's no cardiac activity. So, you know, those are all signs of a non-viable pregnancy. I want to say about a week later, I go in for my OBGYN appointment and they tell me your baby is not progressing. There's no heartbeat. And we think you're definitely having a miscarriage. We can confirm that by now. So I tell them, well, can I schedule for a D&C or something like that? The OBGYN mentioned to me that the doctors don't like doing a D&C. I can't remember why she said that because I remember asking her why don't they like doing a D&C, because I just heard that taking the pill would be much harder on my body and that I would have really, really bad cramping, worse or like 10 times worse than period cramping. So I just didn't want to go through that from taking the pill. But I did mention to her, like, let me just do one more ultrasound. And it was only because from all my ultrasounds that I had before the last one, which my mom had came into, they told me that they weren't able to see a yolk sac or a heartbeat. And when I went into the last one, which was more like a private ultrasound, she found the yolk sac. So I felt like I was given a little bit of hope and that I shouldn't just make a decision so quickly and, you know, terminate the pregnancy. So she told me, you know, you think you really want to go in for another ultrasound. It's been confirmed that you're having a miscarriage. Your baby is not growing, and I might not be able to follow up with you because for her, she was going on vacation, which didn't matter for me. I felt like, you know, I needed to just be sure. I needed to know for sure that this was a miscarriage that I was having. So she scheduled me for my last ultrasound at the private ultrasound place where my family was able to come in. And my mom had came to that one as well. And while we waited in that lobby, there was women coming in before my appointment. And I remember just having that feeling like, you know what, this is a waste of time. I don't even know why I'm here. I know the baby hasn't grown. It's just, I don't even know why I'm even wasting my time with this last ultrasound. I could have had taken the pill, you know, last week. But we waited in the lobby until we got called. And when we got called, we went in for the ultrasound. And when she did the transabdominal ultrasound, I did feel like I saw something, but it was still just more of the sac that was more noticeable. So she went in transvaginally, and when she went in transvaginally, I immediately started looking for the heartbeat, and I couldn't find a heartbeat. And by that time, I knew, like, okay, this is not gonna be, you know, a successful pregnancy. Like, this is not viable. I felt like I put myself, I felt like I put myself through a lot just going through the ultrasounds and getting blood work done when, you know, I should have just paid attention to my dates and known, like, you know, this is not going to be a viable pregnancy. Like, this is just not going to be. And also, I don't know if I mentioned, but when I had went in for my ultrasound, my last ultrasound at the emergency. Okay, you guys, so my camera had died, but what I was saying was, so when I had went to the emergency room, my beta levels were 72,000, which was the highest that my levels had reached when I was pregnant. And I had went 2 days later to a different emergency room, and they ran my beta levels, and they were 32,000. So my levels had dropped, but since I got them done for 2 different labs, my OBGYN said that there could be like a margin of error with your 2 different ACG levels. She mentioned like maybe they separated your blood differently from, you know, different labs. So anyway, yeah. Okay, so once it was confirmed that I was having a miscarriage, I didn't have an appointment until about 2 to 3 weeks with my OBGYN for me to get the pill. So during those 2 to 3 weeks, I was already spotting, and my spotting has started to get much heavier. And one day I had woke up and I was getting ready for work, and my spotting was like blood clots at that point. And they started to get bigger, and it was passing more frequently. And I started to get uterine contractions, which started to get more and more worse throughout the day. While I was at work, I was having severe uterine contractions. It was almost like a wave of different pain levels of uterine contractions. The first one, or the second one, was much harder than the first one, and they just kept getting worse and worse until that last one had came, and it was literally the worst pain that I felt physically. It felt more like not even a period. It felt 10 times worse than a period. Almost like I would think if you're in labor, but I don't know because I never got to that point. But yeah, it was super hard. I couldn't even stand up. I immediately ran to the restroom and I sat down on the toilet, and when I sat down, my uterus contracted, and when it contracted, it pushed out what I thought was a huge blood clot, but it was the sac and many more blood clots. So I was like, oh my gosh, like, you know, this is it. This was, you know, my baby. It's over now. And it confirmed, like, you know, this was really a miscarriage. My body had recognized it at that point, even though it has been, 6 weeks extra, because by that time I was 13 weeks according to my last menstrual period, but my baby had stopped growing at 6 weeks. So it took about 6 to 7 weeks extra for my body to recognize, like, okay, this is not a viable pregnancy. And it was the worst pain. I never will forget that pain, but it's hard to explain the pain. I just know that I had uterine contractions. It was more painful on the emotional side because I remember the contractions and the blood clots and things like that. But once I saw the sac come out, I knew, like, this is it. Like, you know, my OBGYNs was right. They were telling me this is, you know, not a viable pregnancy. This looks like a miscarriage. The emergency room was right. I knew that, you know, this really confirmed it. Like, this was it. There was no second thought or a little bit of hope that I had left because I saw it and that was it. So I called my mom and I told her, and I just broke down crying. I didn't even know how to feel because I was at work. Because I was at work and I didn't know what to do. I would have liked to collect it, at least to have it, but since I was at work, I didn't have no other choice but to just look at it. I didn't have no other choice but to just look at it and flush it. So that's what I did, and it was so horrible. It was more painful, the emotional side was, than the physical, because I had all the symptoms. I felt pregnant, and that had happened. But yeah, that's how I found out I had my miscarriage, and then that's how I had my miscarriage. I do have pictures of the sac and everything, but I won't put it in the video because it's more personal for me. But there's plenty of pictures online for the women who do want to see, or who feel like they're going through a miscarriage, or, you know, who are watching this video, because I know a lot of women who are watching this video, they're probably going through a miscarriage, or they just, you know, previously went through a miscarriage. But yeah, for me, I'm not gonna put it in the video, but it was a lot, and it was just emotionally painful. So it did take me some time to emotionally and physically heal from it. As you guys can see, I'm not all the way there, but I'm much better from the first day that it took place, of course, and when it happened. But oh, let me show you guys a picture of my ultrasound, because I did get an ultrasound printout, and I'll show you guys how big my little peanut was. But I look at it, I have it here on my vanity table, and I look at it from time to time when I'm sitting here doing my makeup. And I look at it and I think to myself, like, I will be able to meet that baby one day. It just wasn't the right time for me this time. So yeah, but let me show you guys the picture. So here is my ultrasound picture that I had got from like the private ultrasound place, but it was paid for through my insurance. So this is the baby. This was the fetal or the yolk sac, the little white part right here, and then the baby. She put on there baby, and this was supposedly at 6 weeks pregnant, but I should have been 9 weeks pregnant. But this was before it was confirmed that I was having a miscarriage. So here's the ultrasound. That's how big my sac was. It was pretty big, and the baby was pretty small, but my sac was measuring, I believe, at 8 weeks, and then the baby was measuring at 6 weeks and 4 days by my last ultrasound. So yeah, I just leave it here on my vanity, and I look at it from time to time when I'm here just sitting down doing work or doing makeup or anything. And I always just have that mindset, like, I'm gonna see this baby soon one day. It just wasn't the right time at this time. I know it's the season, everyone's pregnant right now, pandemic babies and all of that. And when I found out I was pregnant, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have a pandemic baby. But this season just wasn't my season to get pregnant. And yeah, but yes, that's how I found out I was having a miscarriage. It started off as a miscarriage, and then the miscarriage took place naturally, which I'm glad that my body recognized it, even though it did take 6 weeks longer. But I'm glad that I didn't have to take the pill and things like that. I know some women had to take the pills, or some women had to do the DNC. I really didn't want to do the DNC, but I felt like DNC would be better for me, because taking the pill, there could still be some fetal tissue left over and things like that. For now, I'm just waiting for my HCG levels to drop. Yes, I'm still going through this. In November, my miscarriage took place, I believe, I want to say the ending of September, or the middle, no, not even the middle, the beginning of October. I believe my miscarriage took place. So yeah, I'm just waiting for my HCG levels to return back to normal. Right now they are 18. They were at 72, and then they dropped down to 18. So I have to go in on Wednesday and get my HCG levels tested again, just so they go down, I think he said below 5, because I'm still getting a positive pregnancy test, but there's no baby. It's just my body is slowly returning back to pre-pregnancy. So yeah, that's my miscarriage story. I hope this is the last time I have to experience this. I never want to go through this again, because it is really emotional. It's stressful, and it's just sad, but I do a lot of things to keep my mind occupied and keep my mind off of just solely thinking about, my miscarriage. So if you guys want to see how I manage just being okay. I can't make a video on how I minimize the stress and just keep my sanity and keep myself sane, I guess. But yeah, and for my supporters who have subscribed to my channel, we are back. Of course, I will be uploading more vlogs. It just was a lot of stress, and pregnancy is no joke during the first trimester. So I was just really mostly tired, lazy, didn't want to do much. But now that I'm back, of course I'm going to be uploading vlogs and things like that for you guys. So yeah, this should be the only sad video, hopefully, and we can just move on with a regular scheduled program. But I did want to let you guys know like what was going on and things like that and why I've been gone. So yeah, that is how I found out I was having a miscarriage, you guys, and I know I can move on from it and just go on with life. So yeah, I will see you guys in my next video. I'm not even going to tell you guys to like, comment, share, and subscribe because this is a touchy topic. But yeah, I will see you guys in my next video.